Start. Okay.
Um, Good evening from India. I'm Santosh Kumar. I'm pursuing my full-time PhD on English language and literature at Vishnu College Autonomous, and in India, my college is located at Tamil Nadu, Tiruchirappalli, and my hometown is Tiruchirappalli. And first of all, I would like to place my thanks to the convener of this webinar, Dr. Elizabeth Ma'am, and also to the beloved organizers who are behind the screen. Thank you, every one of you, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I would also like to thank my friend from Greece, Professor Evangela Vasiliko. Only through her, I came to know Ma'am Elizabeth Ma'am. So thanks to everyone, and also at the same time, thanks to pandemic. I'm just saying it in a very positive sense because of when this pandemic hit the entire world, almost all the academicians around the globe, we are all able to meet us. We are all able to meet virtually. So thanks to that, of course, pandemic has positives and negatives, and we are here to take it in a very positive sense. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for that. And the topic today, which I'm going to discuss here, is uh, rereading and relocating the truth. And most of you would wonder here, what is the topic? What does it infer, or what I'm trying to tell? Rereading and relocating. What do you mean by that? Now we are living in a period which is said to be postmodernism. I hope you can get it. We're living in a period which is said to be postmodernism, and we are at a stage where truths are being questioned. How authentic is authenticity? That is being questioned here, and that has become the order of the day. And everything, whatever truth is being uttered in the public forum, is being taken into debate, and why it is being taken into debate. The question is that truths are being manipulated. I'm very sorry to register here. Truths are being manipulated by the power structures for their own well being. And the outcome is that the muted histories, the voices of the muted people, are being unknown forever. So, so in that case, truths are in so in that case, truths are being reread and they are being reloaded again and again. And in another sense, what we can say is that truths are being manipulated. Truths are being manipulated for the welfare of the people who are in power. And there's a saying in English: absolute power corrupts the people, and that is being happening all over the world. And another thing, and another interesting phenomenon is that literature is said to be a culture-specific action. Gone are those days where people say that the people who sprung from literary background, they just read only books. Reading only books, what changes they can make in society? It is not like that. Literature is doing miracles with its language. What history books cannot do, literature is doing with its language. The role of a historiographer or the role of a historian is to record the facts, whereas the role of a true librarian is to question those facts and to question and to examine those truths. So that has become the order of the day. And you people might get confused because the topic which I'm going to speak here is relocating and rereading the truth. Whereas in my study, you could see the title as Exile Testimonio, Critical Perspective. The reason is that exile testimonial is said to be the ultimate study of my talk. Under this exile testimonial, truths are being relocated and it's being reread. And here you might ask me the question, what do you mean by an exile? Or we have heard about the term exile, and we have also heard about the term testimonial. By combining both, what you could infer that you might ask me like that. Whereas exile, the another term for exile is diaspora. The term diaspora is used to refer to any body of people or ethnic population who are forced or induced to leave their traditional homeland, dispersed throughout the world, and forming a community, the land of their own choice. Here, I would like to differentiate the difference between exile and diaspora. Diaspora is somewhat a person leaving his own homeland out of his own wish. Whereas exile is that a person who is being pushed, who is being forced to leave his own homeland. That force can be of that push can be of that can be for so many reasons. So one of the main reason is the political turmoil which happens in every country, and there is no one to question it. And later people are there to and later people are there only for analyzing it. And then people they migrate to another land in terms of economical benefits. If you take certain countries, they might be economically down and uh, economically down. Just to and for an individual to get upliftment in their life, they just migrate. It is also a kind of a forced exile. And another thing is that next important thing is that you could see in this slide the last point. Exile is not just geographical entity. Rather, one can be exiled in one's own homeland, in one's house, even in room. COVID-19 remains. For example, a person can be an exile in one's own homeland. If you take the life of the African people, how they were colonized their own homeland, and if you take the life of Australians, in other words, the life of the Aborigines, how they were being exiled in their own homeland by the colonizers. And if you take so almost all the countries like Canada, every part of the globe was being colonized, and these people, these colonized the colonized people, the problem with them is that for them the home and the homeland has become a ghost to them. What they feel is that the country which they enjoyed, the country where they enjoyed a lot, which had so many rights for them, where it is being pushed to threat, where it is at a stake. By asking them a question is that how can you enjoy these rights? This is not your own land. And whereas the plight of the native is that they are said to be the natives of the soil. They are said to be the sons of the soil, and the outcome is that it is their dignity, their citizenship, and their identity is being muted by someone who does not belong to their own homeland, and that is the irony here. And another thing, as I said before, each and everyone, and as I said before, COVID-19 made us to remember or made us to understand the fact that everyone is undergoing the process of exile. So I hope all of you agree with me. We are doing our work from our home. Almost all our daily survival evolves only within the four walls of our house or within the four walls where we stay. And COVID-19 stresses the fact that give room for humanity. Exile can happen anywhere. Exile can happen even in the minds of the people. The mindscape of the people clearly portray their own landscape. And that is the thing. And the next thing is that, uh, as I said before, the political exile. Here, the topic rereading and relocating the truth. Here, here I would just like to say, quote Edward Said. Edward Said in his famous work Orientalism. Edward Said, he's said to be a renowned writer, and also said to be a pioneer for this post-colonial studies. In his famous work Orientalism, he said that there is no clash between civilizations. There is only clash between ideologies. I hope you can understand me. Edward Said, his famous work Orientalism, is just the fact that there is no clash between civilizations. There is only clash between ideologies. And next, another thing is that Edward said he boldly condemns the fact that the truth is that in almost all the literary pieces, okay, which were being recorded by the travelers, okay, uh, uh, almost all the literary pieces which were being recorded by the travelers were not of utmost truth. The problem is that travel literature paved way for the foregrounding the falsified truths. For example, there were so many sailors who visited so many countries, and the whatever hindrances they underwent, and what are the difficulties, and what were the natural calamities or the beautiful hindrances which they occurred in their land, which where they explored, those things were being modified for the welfare of the power structures. And here becomes the question of authenticity. How authentic is authenticity? And again here comes reloading and relocating the truth. For example, I'm just telling, just imagine and see uh, America in the context of Vasco da Gama and America in the context of Columbus differs. I hope you can get it. You can agree with me. America in the context of Columbus differs than America in the context of Vasco da Gama. And here, just imagine and see the discoveries or the pennings of Vasco da Gama will give a different picture about America to us right now. And the discoveries made by Columbus about America give us a very new picture. By taking these two writings into account, in general, we can question how authentic is authenticity. And then what happened is that history of America is being revamped. I'm just saying it for example. The history of America is being revamped, and the history of America is being taken into account to question their own predecessors, where they were living in a country which has got a rich heritage or not. I'm just saying it for example. Here in the slide, you could see the political exile. How?
I'm sorry, Santos.
Okay.
And what
Yeah, yeah,
happened in India with this in this context, the political exile?
yeah,
How
yeah.
is in India? It's same?
Yeah, it's same. The problem in India is that people they migrate to another land. The only difference is that in India, people are being exiled in their own country. People are being exiled in their own country. Whereas if you take other countries, the people they migrate to another country. If you take the conflict happened in Iraq, or even if you take the conflict happened in Syria, what people does is that they just migrate, right? They cannot survive in the war zone regions. Here in the slide, this particular slide is a typical example of the political exile which happened in Iraq and also in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, as we all know, it's said to be a country which is full of
Mm.
bloodsheds and war zone areas. And then what happened here is that the political exile makes people to relocate their own identity. That is the saddest truth. The problem is that people nowadays they say that the world has become a globalized market where every country welcomes everyone. Yeah, of course it is true, but just imagine and see the plight of people who sprung from Israel, Iraq, who sprung from Syria, and also who sprung from the countries like Sri Lanka. Almost all these people they just migrate to Canada for their welfare, or sometimes they migrate to different parts of the world. And what happened is that their identity is being shattered. In other words, the roots, I mean ROTS, their roots is being taken into question, and outcome is that they travel so many routes, ROUTES. And yeah,
Yes.
and next thing, as I said before, homeland exile. And what do you mean by this term homeland exile? The term homeland exile clearly implicates a person being exiled in one's own homeland. The best example for this is that in the context of Indian scenario, the migrant workers. The migrant workers in India, the migrant workers, they were from different states in India. They were for their economical benefits, they just migrate to different parts of India. And when this pandemic hits, and and I'm very sorry to say, there was an uninformed lockdown announced by our honorable Prime Minister. And what happened was our country was shaken. Our country was shaken like anything else. And the outcome is that what happened is what so many migrant people, owing to the lack of transportation, they were not in a position to reach their home. And the saddest truth is that some of the migrant workers, while on their way to home, owing to lack of food and owing to lack of water, they were forced to give up their own life. And these things remained about the homeland exile. See, exile, it is not only because of a physical war or not because of physical pressure. Physical pressure. Exile can happen even one's mindset with mental pressure and mental turmoil where every individual undergoes. And if you take the life of aborigines in Australia, even they undergo the concept of exile because, as we all know, in the context of Austrian discourses, the people they undergo this concept of hybridization. as very sorry to say, the son, for example, if Austrian citizen, he or she is said to be that I am a son of a I am a son from a native mother, and my father is a white, and my grandfather is a typical Australian. He represents the typical tribe of which whom I belong, and almost just imagine and see, for those people, the country which was once their own soil, now it is being taken into account where they live as a migrant in their own homeland. And that is said to be a very pathetic state which should not happen for anyone. And another saddest truth in this homeland exile is that home and homeland has become ghosts. To put it in the words of Salman Rushdie, the famous literary critic who sprung from India, he often says that for the people who undergo the concept of exile or diaspora, for these people, home and homeland has become a ghost. They are at a point where they are not able to follow a new culture. At the same time, they are not able to give up their own culture, which has got different multitudes. And and this multitudes, they question the multidimensionalities of a text. And here, and the interesting fact is that literature, as I said before, is said to be a culture-specific production, and culture studies is said to be a broad and comprehensive term which includes literature, anthropology, economics, politics, social sciences, and so on. And after the advent of culture studies, the gap between the anthropologists and the humanistic scholars have been bridged, and thus begins the interdisciplinary approach to knowledge. So, having literature as a base, culture studies as an impetus, literature literature is spreading its wings, and it has become interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. Gone are those days in the good old past where the people who belong to humanities, they can talk only about the things and facts which are in the books. Whereas after the advent of multidisciplinary in the research, where the person who comes from humanity background, he or she can talk about the social issues which is happening in and around the globe, and that is the advent of culture studies. And thanks for that. And next, my topic here is that testimonial. It is closely associated with the talk rereading and relocating. And I hope Elizabeth ma'am will be quite interested about this. And I hope
Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.
sorry, I could hear some okay. And a testimonial. That what is testimonial? Testimonial literature is derived from the word testimonio, which means witness narrative. I repeat, testimonial literature is derived from the word testimonio, which means witness narrative. And for your information, testimonio, it had its origin in the Latin America. I repeat, testimonio, it had its origin in the Latin America, where the women from Latin America protested against the patriarchal norms of the government. And the famous text for this testimonial is that I Rigobeta Menichu. I repeat, the famous text for this genre testimonial is that I Rigobeta Menchu. This is the suffering of Indian women from Guatemala. Okay, now when we go through these texts, what happened is that we could differentiate how truths are being manipulated. And for your understanding, testimonial, it questions autobiography and history. Right from the good old past until now, histories, they often talk about the importance of an individual. I hope can get it right from the good old past till now. History, they often talk about the importance of an individual, whereas they haven't spoken about the collective plight or the collective suffering of a common man. Whereas if you take the autobiography is a to be a work of art written by an individual where he or she shares his or her own experience. The difference between testimonial, autobiography, and history is that in testimonial, through individual, the collective plight is brought out. Through individual, for example, if a person, if he or she comes from Sri Lanka, or if he or she comes from Australia or Sri Lanka, when those people, when they record the facts, when they record the things which happened in their nation exactly, those works are said to be a testimonial. And when it comes to autobiography, for example, the famous autobiography almost all over the world is Mahatma Gandhi's My Experiment with Truth. In that autobiography, we could see Gandhiji, he himself, he whatever things he underwent, whatever things he experienced in personal life, he had the guts to record it, he had the guts to express it, and he recorded in a form of an autobiography. And if you take history, it often shows this incident and this event happened this year at this time, and the name of the kings and their predecessors like that stuff. So, testimonial, it acts as a socio-political documentary. And in other words, it acts as a threat to the power structures. And then, as I said before, history versus testimonial. Here you could slide in the slide, you could see that it highlights only the importance of kings and their mode of living, whereas testimonial, it highlights unheard histories and muted voices. And next, in the slide, you could see the exile testimonial. As I shared before, it showcases the plight of natives in their own homeland. It vehemently protests against the power structures. It makes the unknown as known. Now, I just want to highlight a few things very clearly. The thing is that what is truth? What is truth? Said distinct Billet, as distinct Billet is a famous quote by Francis Bacon in his essay of truth. Now, we are in a time, okay, we are in a time where things are being manipulated for the for their own well for their own benefits. And problem is that most of the voices, okay, most of the muted voices are being deliberately muted, and in other words, they are being unheard forever. The reason is that when those truths they come out, they question the historians and the history, and the outcome is that testimonial, it acts as a testimonial, it deliberately erases the line between personal and political. I repeat, testimonial, it deliberately erases the line between personal and political. And the saddest part is that when these truths are being questioned, they lack in when I produce a certain evidence, when I produce a certain evidence, you people will ask me a question, uh, whether those documentations have facts. Now the problem and the problem with these people is that these things are being taken into a question when a person who sprungs when a person he or she registers their own plight, the people they ask the question is that do we have any facts or like that stuff. And in the good old past there were no truths, there were no evidences, whereas in the current scenario literary text, they serve as a tool, and they serve as a documentation, and they serve as a documentaries. What we can say is that books are said to be the tools which will keep the wounds alive. I repeat, books are said to be the tools which will keep the wounds alive. So many literary texts. If you take the literary work of I Am Malala, written by the author Malala, it is said to be this work is about a girl who just fought against who just fought against the Taliban movement, and where she registered her voice in the UN, stating the fact that this is the call for the entire women folk to rise up and to fight against the voice of every patriarchal norms. And even if you take the works of Virginia Woolf, when Virginia Woolf, a famous literary figure, she was not given permission to enter into the library. She was clearly stated the fact that she asserted the fact that it is a universal call for anti-women folk to revolt against it. So many literary texts are there. As I said before, how truths are being questioned and how truths are being relocated. Best example, what I can say is that in the context of Australian scenario, just imagine and see, for those people, they follow a certain tribal culture. And what happened is that the colonized society, what they do is that they they are said to be the real migrants. They enter the particular country, and first they try to enter the country in the form of a trade, and next they have a religion as a tool, and next they have it as a trade chip to colonize the minds of the people. And what happened is that By doing so, they force the people to convert to another religion, and they force the people and they impose the culture on the particular culture on a people which they don't like. And when all those things are being recorded in a form of a literary, or when all those things are being recorded in the form of a book, in the form of a novel, a literature serves as an artifact for that. So those things are taken into account. That is the thing. And next is that the basic thing is that exile testimonial through relocating and also through rereading the truths. It instructs the readers to know about the social inequalities, and it also insists them in telling no to the power structures for their social follies. Thank you. If you have any queries, you can ask me. I'm ready to express it.
Congratulations, Santos.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations. Elizabeth, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes, please stay.
Thank you. Santos,
Yes, ma'am.
life in exile is very difficult, and I understand that the situation has been complicated by the pandemic. What is your
Yeah.
impression of the policies and humanitarian intervention of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees? You mentioned Rigoberta Menchú, Nobel Peace Prize winner, and Malala. Does the pressure exerted by some human rights leaders lie her really influence?
Ma'am, thank you for asking this valuable question. My answer is that UN is taking certain necessary steps. UN is taking effective actions right from the period of Kofi Annan and even the present UN Secretary Ban Ki-moon. Almost all the UN secretaries, they are taking as effective measures. And the problem is that with the countries, as we all know, the political turmoil is that even when UN wants to pass a certain bill, it needs the support of few nations to pass those bills. For example, if you take in a country like Sri Lanka, where the people in their own homeland are being forced to death, and the Sri Lankan army, they did so many harmful things to the natives of the soil. Whereas when that particular bill was passed in the UN, nations, most of the countries, they were not in a position to raise a voice against the particular country. And even the UN General Secretary said, his question is that we are for the welfare of the mankind, but yet then we need the support of all the nations. Even though UN is an independent, UNO is an independent body, of course, it can take certain independent actions, but at the same time, it is the bound duty of the UN to also to receive, to hear to the plight of the natives who underwent the problem, That is the thing, ma'am. Even if you take in the context of Malala, yes, she has voiced out. She has voiced out her opinion. She has done everything. But the strangest and the saddest truth is that people on the one end, they voice out. They are trying to register the truths which is happening in and around the globe. At the same time, social policies are happening everywhere, ma'am. Even though UN is taking certain necessary steps, it is in the hands of human beings to stop some unwanted activities, ma'am. That's what my answer is. Them. Even though we have so many political bodies who can take actions, but yet then we cannot force someone to. We cannot force someone. Please don't do this. We are on humanitarian grounds. We are here to spread peace. To say that to spread peace, we cannot go in a violent method. We are here to follow non-violence method. Also, at the same time, very sorry to say, people are not here to understand the importance of non-violence, ma'am. That is the saddest truth, ma'am.
Thank
I
you,
hope
thank you, Santos.
I hope I have answered your question, ma'am.
Very, 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 very interesting of topic.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Somebody?
Hello,
Hi, Anthony.
Anthony.
Good evening. Good afternoon for you.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening for us.
Thank you so much for your invitation. I got a question to Mr. Sanghas Kumar
Yes, sir.
from India, isn't it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I get a question.
Yeah.
How
sir.
the government has support Indian population being affected by the COVID-19 and how the people has managed themselves even having a very, very smart population in Indian country.
Sir, can you repeat your question, please? How?
Yes, of course. How the government has support the India population being affected by the COVID-19 and
Yeah.
how the people have managed themselves even having a smart population.
Yeah. Sir, thank you for your question. Indian government, as we all know, I feel also very proud to say that almost I could see in almost all the medias, India is providing vaccines to so many countries. Only with the support of India, the COVID vaccine is being passed to all over the globe. And in a country like India, sir, which is said to be of a huge population, government is enforcing very strict laws, and also at the same time people have certain self-discipline, not all, quite a few. They have self-discipline, they follow certain rules and regulations, but at the same time, sir, my suggestion and my thing is that almost not only in India, almost every other country, people, the people in the power, the people from the authority, they can insist us, they can frame the rules and regulations, but it is in the hands of the individuals to follow those protocols. We are not in a we are not in a position that only if we impose very strict rules and regulations, because as we all know, in the context of India, a democratic country where everyone has got a voice to raise out their queries. So, government is imposing very strict rules and regulations in the pandemic, and also at the same time, the every individual citizen from India, he or she is also is following certain rules and regulations. And also, I also admit at the same time, there are certain people are there who do not follow these protocols, and yet they are the suppressed. So government is imposing very strict rules and regulations, but it is up to the individual to follow it, sir. That's how I can answer your questions, sir.
Thank you so much for your answer. It's very wise of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Anthony, for your question. I don't know if somebody have another question. Hi, Luis Mateo. Thank you for to be with us today.
Buenas tardes, acá en el Perú, 1:30. Saludo muy afectuoso y mi gran aprecio a la exposición de nuestro conferenciante y a usted las gracias por permitirme estar en esta reunión y poder compartir muchas ideas que, si bien es cierto, no manejo el idioma inglés, solo el castellano. Sin embargo, he podido interpretar a través de los gráficos las expresiones y su orientación de toda su exposición. Muy agradecido de estar aquí con ustedes. Un abrazo a nuestro expositor, porque estas son las ideas y las razones que van a unir al mundo entero en pos de la libertad y la justicia para todos los seres humanos. Gracias. Si me pudiera, mi distinguida dama, transmitirle, por favor. Gracias.
Claro que sí, con todo gusto. Tantos, Luis Mateo told you that thank you very much for you. He don't speak English, but he can understand all the your topic and say thank you very much because all the world have to do the same. All the people have to do the same for can to have a better world. And that's
Yeah.
he say for you. Thank you very much for your time and for your topic.
Okay, thank you so much, Matthew, sir. Thank you so much.
Y le agregaría que le estoy hablando desde el Perú, de la capital del Perú, que es Lima. Soy el presidente rector del Colegio de Investigación y Docencia del Perú. Mi saludo muy especial a todos ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome,
He's from
doctor.
Peru.
Sorry, ma'am.
Luis
Elizabeth,
Mateo is from Peru.
may I translate for him?
Yes, please.
Okay. Santos, he said that he is talking to you from Peru,
Okay,
for the
okay,
capital
sir.
of the country, and he
Okay.
is the president of the College of Investigation and Science in Peru.
Okay. So honored, sir. So honored for. Thank you so much for listening to my lecture, sir.
Yes, it is Dr. Luis Mateo Muñoz is a personality important in Peru.
Okay.
Yeah, now this webinar is very nice. I like so much the webinars each Sunday because we can to have people for around the world. Nos gustan estos webinars de los domingos, doctor Luis Mateo, porque es una oportunidad que encontramos para muchas personas, incluyéndome, que no hablamos bien el inglés, para poder participar, para poder practicar, para poder escuchar, para poder aprender y para poder conocer gente de todo el mundo. I told to Dr. Luis Mateo Santos that each webinar each Sunday is very good because we can find a lot of topics, a lot of friends, and we can know about a lot of things to have new friends around the world.
Yes.
And this is the case too.
Okay,
Then,
thank you
very
so
much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope I also did justice to the.
Para Santos.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry again.
No, I hope I did justice to my topic. I hope all of you enjoyed my talk.
Ya, que espera que haya disfrutado su conferencia, doctor Luis Mateo.
Sí, gracias mucho y me he quedado con varias ideas e inclusive he capturado varias de las figuras, o sea, de
Diapositivas.
las diapositivas, claro, que han presentado, ya los he captado. Y también me voy a permitir en algún momento, en base a esas figuras, a esa diapositiva, que me logran inspirar algunas otras ideas. Hoy ha sido una exposición que ha logrado inspirar muchas otras ideas que podemos irlas aplicando en los diversos países del mundo, principalmente aquí en el Perú, que estamos muy atentos a todo el acontecer del mundo y muy atento a las experiencias que vayan mejorando nuestras vivencias y más aún, nosotros los peruanos estamos en este año celebrando 200 años de la independencia española. Y en estos 200 años queremos llegar para este 28 de julio con un gran congreso mundial para que el Perú entero escuchen diversas experiencias de la educación en el mundo y cómo los diversos países han ido buscando cada vez que abrazar la libertad y abrazar una nueva forma de vivir más humana, porque nosotros creemos que solo la educación nos permite ser cada día más libres y más dignos humanamente. Por eso felicito a nuestro expositor de de este día. Y en adelante, en algún momento también, si me invitan, podemos conversar y poder plantear algunas cosas. Gracias.
Doctor, si me permite, Celi, doctor Luis Antonio, yo por ahí bueno, creo que ya Eli está considerada para un congreso. Yo me permitiría recomendarle a Anthony, este chico que acaba de intervenir traduciendo traduciendo lo que usted dijo para Santos. Anthony es venezolano y hace unos días estuve conversando con él. Es un chico de verdad muy inquieto, con un liderazgo, con unas ganas de hacer cosas importantes y de compartir. Entonces, bueno, no sé qué opines, Anthony.
De hecho, ya estuvo Anthony con nosotros dando una conferencia también aquí. In 1 minute, I translate for you all, Santos. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Dr. Luis Mateo thought that it's very interesting, your topic.
Okay.
And now with your topic, he
Elizabeth.
has new good ideas about education and how to help. Sí, Anthony.
If you allow me, I can do it for you.
Yes, please.
Okay. And the professor told us that he is very, very thankful and grateful with you for this kind of topic. It's very important in order to get together all the communities around the world. And also he has understood so many words and so many mainly ideas for the topics through the pictures that you have posted in the positives. Also, he would like to improve every day with those kind of idea in order to implant in their country. It's also very important, this kind of topic, in order to communicate and to get enforce all the ideas, mailing ideas in the world. And thank you so much for your invitation. And he would like to be invited one more time in order to speak and to get new ideas from that kind of topics. Thank you for your invitation. That's what he said.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for translating to me, sir. Thank you, Anthony Stevens, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Sí, pues ya estaríamos viendo con el doctor Luis Mateo más adelante. Nos estamos en contacto. Tengo su número, ¿verdad, doctor?
Yo te lo paso, Eli.
No.
Yo
Porque
te lo paso.
hoy día me llegó la invitación.
Ok, bueno.
Y respondí a la invitación.
Muy bien. Claro que sí. Pues muchísimas gracias.
Mire,
I don't know if there are another question.
Antes que se retire lo que venimos nosotros ahora realizando son varios congresos internacionales, pero todos estos congresos internacionales van a converger en un gran congreso mundial para que los diversos países del mundo, bajo la representación de muchas de sus personalidades, planteen la experiencia de la educación, cómo esa experiencia de la educación lo ha ido llevando a ser cada vez más libre y más digno. Y recoger de todas estas experiencias del mundo, todo ese conjunto de ideas, procesarlas y juntamente con una propuesta nuestra, presentarle al pueblo peruano el 28 de julio que celebramos nuestro bicentenario de la independencia, presentarle una propuesta, no al gobierno, sino a la nación entera. Porque a veces uno lo presenta al gobierno, pero el gobierno no lo hace llegar a la nación. Entonces lo que queremos es presentar a la nación. Y si el gobierno lo toma bien, y si no lo toma, lo importante es que ya se genere un movimiento de ideas en torno a que la educación es uno de los factores que nos permite esa gran liberación humana y ese gran desarrollo de todas nuestras posibilidades como seres humanos. Por eso es que cuánto quisiera que todos ya en el siguiente tercer congreso tengamos más países hasta llegar a ese congreso mundial donde abarquemos al máximo. Creo que para el Perú, para la nación peruana, escuchar a cada uno de ustedes sería un gran honor, una gran alegría y una gran satisfacción porque sus recomendaciones van a caer en tierra fértil. Hay ansiedad, hay deseo de mejorar nuestra nación. Gracias.
Sí, sí, claro que sí. Can you say to Santos, Anthony, please?
Yes, of course. And Mr. Santos, Mr. Luis told us that he thinks it's very important these kind of topics, and he would like to gather many ideas from those kind of topic in order to implement in their country and in the culture and also on the Peruvian people, and also to project or to take those kind of idea to the government for the country on in order to they project to the people. Sometimes it's becoming harder for them to project idea to the government because they don't project that idea to the people from Peru or any nation. And he would like to implant in those countries many ideas in order to get a better world and to get a better world and society. And he is very grateful again with these kind of topics. Although he has couched many ideas in order to implant in their college. And it's also, he said that there are many wish and initiative of to get a better world, a better society, a better country, and it's also grateful and in order to get that kind of idea and to implant in the Peruvian country.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ya estaremos viendo la posibilidad de invitar a Santos y a otros conferencistas que conocemos de este lado del mundo y buscar la manera de traducir cada una de sus conferencias. We are talking about that you will be in the next Congress in Latin America, Santos, and
Okay.
with one ¿cómo se dice? Traductor, Anthony?
Translator.
With that translator.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but we will be working in this. Estaremos trabajando en todo esto. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación, doctor Luis Mateo. Y por supuesto que cuenta con todos nosotros. Ya estaremos organizándonos y viendo la posibilidad de que así sea. We will work
Conmigo pueden contar para cualquier cosa que necesiten en el área de traducción y bueno, ya saben cómo soy yo en este tipo de asuntos. Well, you can, Mr. Santos, you can count on me with that kind of topic. And Elizabeth already know how is my personality in that kind of topic. I really love it and I really enjoy to be in. And well, I can be a translator for you if you want at any moment. Thank you.
Hace un momento, Anthony, hace un momento mencionaba precisamente la conversación que tuvimos recientemente contigo. Eres venezolano, ¿no? Y a Eli te presentó en uno de estos webinars.
Sí, así es.
Ok.
También vamos a considerarlo aparte de
para los congresos en español, por supuesto.
Sí. Then we will be in one Congress in Latin America, Santos. Be ready, please. Le digo a Santos que esté listo para una conferencia en Latinoamérica.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for to be today with us. What time is not for you, Santos?
Here it is exactly 12:50 p.m. 12:50 a.m.
Ahora son las 12 de la noche para Santos y aún así nos hizo favor de acompañarnos en la conferencia. Thank you very much for your time.
In Mexico, 54.
Yeah, it is 12. Yeah, ma'am, here it is 12:50 a.m.
Yes.
There are 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 hours difference.
Acá en el Perú van a ser las 2 de la tarde, o sea, las 2 de la tarde.
In Peru, there are 2 p.m. Now in Cairo, there are 9 p.m. Then 12 to 12, 9. With you, Anthony, what time is with you?
Quiero decirles que para este Congreso Mundial no solamente queremos ver una sola cara de la luna, sino hay que ver también la otra cara, que generalmente no la tocamos o lo tenemos mucho temor. En ese Congreso tenemos que ver a la luna bajo todas las miradas. Y eso es lo que nosotros estamos planteando a través de lo que nos hemos dedicado a fomentar la investigación multidisciplinaria para ver no solamente una cara en la luna, sino verla en todos los ángulos. Y por eso me gustaría, ya que si acá son las 2 de la tarde, si allá son las 12 de la noche, estamos mirando al mundo de diversos puntos. Y es eso lo que queremos, tener una mirada completa del mundo, un contexto amplio, porque eso nos enseña a vivir.
Así es. De hecho, Exildia, ¿cómo estás? Buenas noches también.
Hello, yes. I live in Ireland. Here is almost 7 o'clock.
Para ella son las 7 de la noche. I don't know, Marley. Marley, can you hear me? What time is for you now? And for Lucas Ali, if you can tell me what time is for you. ¿Qué hora es para los demás? Porque esto así en estos webinars son muy interesantes. Tenemos diferentes horas, pero estamos unidos. We are in different time of the day, Santos, but we are together.
Okay,
Aquí son las 1:56, 4 minutos para las 2 de la tarde. Here is 4 minutes past 2 p.m.
Okay. Yes, perfect. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for your time. Muchas gracias, doctor Luis Mateo, por su tiempo, por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Y bueno, ya estaremos en contacto para futuros eventos juntos. Thank you very much, Santos. Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Well, siempre estoy en contacto con Santos. I always stay in contact with Santos. He's a good friend, and we will be how to work together. Yes?
Sure, ma'am. It's my pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you,
Louis, sir, and thank you, Esther, ma'am. And thanks to Anthony.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias.
Congratulations, Elizabeth Santos. This was a very interesting webinar.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Ma'am. Thanks to Anthony, sir, for being a translator to me. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Bye.
See you next weekend. See you. Nos vemos el siguiente fin de semana. Hasta luego. Gracias.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much, everybody.
Saludarte, Esther, verlas guapísimas a todos. Gracias.
Hasta luego, doctor. Buenas noches. Hasta luego.